Welcome to part 2 of every single Smash Bros. Character's worst matchup in the entire game. So if you want to counterpick every single character in the game, then you have found the right place. I'm going to do a little bit of an explanation as to why all of these matchups are bad as well. Starting it off with King Dedede. Now his worst matchup is actually a new DLC, but it's not Kazuya or Steve, it is Sora. In fact, Pelly Penguin, who is a top Dedede player, gave Sora his own tier because of how bad this matchup is.
Sora is the worst matchup for Dedede by far. You wanna know why? Because he nares you and you die. And the thing is with Kazuya, right, at least you can stay away from him and outrange him. You can't outrange Sora. He's gonna nair and you can't do anything about it. The worst matchup is Sora. What are you supposed to do against Sora? You die. Like, at least against Kazuya, you can ledge trap him, right? You can't even ledge trap Sora or do anything. Sora hits you with Nair and you are dead. You get 0 to death. It's an infinite. If he wanted to, he could infinite you and time you out. He wobbles you.
So yeah, practice your Sora combos a little bit and you'll be giving every Dedede in the entire world an extremely hard time. Up next, we have Olimar, whose worst matchup is Cloud. And I feel like this is very similar to how Younglink's worst matchup is Cloud. Olimar is a character that kind of has Pikmin as swords, but they get completely outranged by Cloud. It's a projectile character, so usually you're happy with just throwing projectiles and the opponent staying over there. But if you do that to Cloud, he gets super powerful. He comes in with incredible kill power. And Olimar, not the best edge guarder in the game, not really able to take advantage of Cloud's terrible recovery. Meanwhile, Cloud, who's usually a character that can't really go out deep to edge guard, can easily edge guard Olimar as he slowly floats to the stage without a single hitbox to protect him. Lucario is a character with a few bad matchups, however none of them are worse than Mr. Game & Watch. Mr. Game & Watch easily combos Lucario and can go out deep for edge guards, managing to get early kills before Lucario even can get aura. And if the Game & Watch can't get out there in time to land an edge guard, Game & Watch can also easily 2-frame Lucario as he snaps to the ledge with a dash attack, setting him off stage to then set up for an edge guard. Combine this with the fact that Lucario's Aura Sphere is really useless and in fact extremely risky to go for against Mr. Game & Watch as he has the bucket, and you're not able to set up good ledge traps on Game & Watch because he just up Bs straight out of there and avoids the situation entirely. Oh, and I forgot to mention, even to make it worse, Lucario just sucks when he gets juggled. Like, what move does he have to hit him from below? Down air, which literally stalls him in place, making it even easier for Game Watch to hit his up airs over and over. Lucario just gets stuck up there in the air like a hot air balloon that ain't out of hot air. Now, R.O.B's worst matchup is also Mr. Game & Watch. This big, chunky man gets comboed all day and all night. Cannot get down. Guess what? His down air, now that I'm thinking about it, actually stalls him in the air as well. He's got no good moves to hit below him that can help with Game & Watch spamming up air and nair over and over. He doesn't have any fast neutral options that can deal with Game & Watch spamming at him with neutral air over and over to get his combo started. So he wants to try and sit back and outspace Game & Watch. But guess what he does that with? A big laser that Game & Watch could just put in a little bucket and shoot straight back at him. Or his little Beyblade thing, which also gets reflected. It's an awful time for R.O.B in this matchup. Now, Toon Link, very similar to Link, a bit of a slow-moving projectile character. All the sword attacks take a while to start up. And as a result, Toon Link has the same worst matchup as Link, which is Pyra and Mythra. This speedy swordsman is able to easily move around Toon Link's neutral and get big kills with Pyra's down air for an edge guard as Toon Link's linearly going to the ledge. Does that make sense? Linearly. Wolf's worst matchup is R.O.B. Wolf is not really a spammy character like Mr. Game & Watch. You could just run in there and pressure R.O.B's shield. So that's why Wolf isn't really good against R.O.B. But why is it so bad? That really comes down to the disadvantaged states of both characters. R.O.B has a fantastic time edge guarding and ledge trapping Wolf. Wolf's recovery kind of sucks. And with the little gyro, with the laser, with the huge down air, R.O.B is keeping Wolf away like... I couldn't come up with anything. Meanwhile, if Wolf ever hits R.O.B off stage, he is just going completely high to the top of the screen, avoiding Wolf's forward tilt, avoiding Wolf's down smash, avoiding Wolf's ledge traps, and just coming down to the ground, only needing to worry about Wolf's up air, which isn't like a crazy devastating juggle option. So R.O.B could really live for a long time in this matchup. Meanwhile, Wolf is in danger every time he is off stage. And I'm sure Villager is very happy all the DLC came out. I don't think Villager has a single good matchup against any of the DLC, none being worse than Hero. Hero is an absolute menace for Villager to deal with. First of all, as you can imagine, he can go and sort through that menu and get bounced, which reflects like every move Villager has straight back at him. And in general, Hero is really a character that can out-camp Villager. Villager wants to sit back and throw your little pebbles, you peasant. Meanwhile, I'm powering up into a god with all my abilities. And so then to counter that, Villager tries to approach, and the way Hero's aerials work, they're just very disjointed, long-lasting hitboxes, slicing through and out-prioritizing any of Villager's aerials. So it's a tough time if you want to camp or approach, and yeah, it's a bad matchup. Mega Man is usually a character that is quite good against other campy characters who are trying to throw projectiles at him, because he just shoots out all of his lemons and they destroy all the projectiles in his way, and he kind of out-camps the campers. However, a camper you can't out-camp is Min, because she does not camp with projectiles. She camps with her long noodly arms, which Mega Man's pellets do nothing against. And so Min is able to pressure Mega Man without Mega Man being able to get close and pressure her. When Mega Man gets hit off stage, then Min is easily... Sorry, I'm having a tough time saying Mega Man and Min. Why are they so... Anyway. Mega Man's recovery is not good at avoiding Min-Min's ledge traps and edge guards, and yeah, it's a bit of a mess of a time in neutral and disadvantage for old Mega Man. Wii Fit Trainer is another character that absolutely hates this two-dimensional little man, Mr. Game & Watch. Wii Fit, usually a character who is pretty happy with staying at the edge of the stage, camping out with projectiles. That is not going to work against Mr. Game & Watch. Of course he has the bucket, but even as well, if you're Wii Fit, you're trying to hang out on the ledge, throw some soccer balls, get some power-ups, get the sun absorption. I'm sure if any of you have played against a Wii Fit, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Mr. Game & Watch's neutral B, the bacon spam, deals with that incredibly well. If the soccer ball hits the bacon, it gets reflected straight back at Wii Fit's face. If she's re-grabbing the ledge, the bacon's gonna hit. And guess what? If you use bacon and then a forward tilt to hit Wii Fit Trainer off stage, as she's coming back, you could just edge guard her with Game & Watch. Game & Watch is one of the best edge guarders in the game, so against a bad recovery like Wii Fit, he is having a fantastic time. Meanwhile, Wii Fit Trainer, to try get the kill, is trying her hardest to just land a big hit in neutral. Obviously, it's too scary to use her neutral B, the Sun Salutation, because Game & Watch can just absorb that. And so Game & Watch is really just gonna run around shitting... Game Watch is really just going to run around, sit in shield a lot, because if Wii Fit gets a grab, unless she's powered up and Game Watch is already at very high percent, it's not really going to do too much. And so he's able to just spam up B out of shield against all of Wii Fit's attacks to try and get the kill, and then just get a juggle or an edge guard on Wii Fit. It's rinse and repeat for Mr. Game Watch. Rosalina and Luba absolutely hate Pyra and Mythra. Rosalina kind of sucks as a character if she isn't winning neutral more than the other character. That's kind of her thing. That's what she likes to do. However, Mythra is probably, if not the best character in neutral in the entire game. Pyra and Mythra as well have a lot of high base knockback on their moves, meaning they're easily able to hit Luma off stage just with a few taps of their sword attacks that kind of keep them at a safe distance where they don't need to worry about getting hit. They're just worried about hitting Luma off stage. Rosalina also is a big light body character, easily getting juggled by Mythra, who's flying around the stage, zipping under with up airs. And then you switch to Pyra to get an easy kill as Rosalina tries to get down from the ground or back to the stage. As she tries to snap the ledge from underneath, bam, that huge down air is coming through. Lunamak is a character that is an expert on the ground. However, what if a character could just build terrain to always be in the air and camp you? Oh yeah, that is Steve. So Steve's the worst matchup. But other than Steve, it is then Pac-Man. As we've previously discussed in this series, Pac-Man is a character that camps people out, not really by just being on the ground, but by putting down the fire hydrant, taking control of center stage, and then jumping around the map, flying in the air to to power up as he charges up his fruits. And this is extremely annoying for Little Mac. No way is Little Mac going to be able to stop the camping of Pac-Man. He's going to also have to respect the hydrant because he's not going to just jump over it and start aerialing Pac-Man to pressure him. No, he's got to punch it. He's got to hit it. And as you're doing that, Pac-Man's either charging his fruit or hitting you with his fruit if he's already got it charged up. Greninja is a character that relies on their speed to outmaneuver and avoid opponents running out and then running back in to get a dash attack, getting a combo started. However, there is a character that is faster than Greninja, and that is Sonic. So Greninja's whole kind of game plan of being faster than the opponent, outmaneuvering them, using the speed, is kind of completely out the window. So Sonic is kind of dominating the neutral game, and he's also getting the earlier kills as well. If Sonic knocks Greninja off stage as they're coming back up being to the ledge, Sonic's forward smash angled down is fantastic at catching Greninja snapping to the ledge. Meanwhile, Sonic's weakness is very similar. Sonic has a hard time kind of grabbing the ledge with his up B. A lot of characters are able to two-frame him. Greninja, not really one of them. Doesn't have a very good, consistent, powerful two-frame like Sonic's forward smash. Mii Brawler really struggles with Cloud. Mii Brawler is quick and fast, but does not have a lot of range. So Cloud is able to keep up with Mii Brawler in neutral, stuffing him out over and over again with the large aerial attacks. If Cloud does end up being in a bad position and has to shield as Mii Brawler kind of rains in aerials from above, the up B outer shield that Cloud has is very nice for dealing with Mii Brawler's onslaught as well. So Cloud is not really a character that gets overwhelmed by the pressure of Mii Brawler. Cloud is also having a great time making it back to stage against Mii Brawler. Mii Brawler is definitely down there as one of the worst characters at landing edge guards, so Cloud is loving that. Meanwhile, Mii Brawlers, as they're coming back to the stage, are probably a lot of the time, if they're going low, they're going to get outspaced or outranged by Cloud's big aerials. So if they're going to avoid that, they're going to go high with Mii Brawler's flip kick and try and land down to the ground from up top. And guess what? Cloud loves when you do that because he is underneath you and he is juggling you with his up airs all day. Mii Swordfighter is one of the least played characters in the entire planet, especially at top level Smash. So I wasn't able to find too much data on them, I'm sorry. I was able to find this person's Twitter, Myolina, who places Joker, Min Min, and Roy as the worst. But I'm definitely able to see Joker as Mii Swordfighter's worst matchup. Joker has like twice the speed in every single area you can imagine compared to Mii Swordfighter. Mii Swordfighter's projectiles are really slow. Joker's going to be able to down B them quite easily and get strong or reflect them back. And yeah, Mii Swordfighter's going to have a tough time landing the kill on this extremely fast character who could down B like the Cyclone setups that Swordfighter has. Meanwhile, Joker is going to be able to get out there, speedily shoot some guns down to catch Swordfighter's really bad recovery, honestly, and then maybe land a back air with Arsene, or counter with Arsene as well. Speaking of characters nobody really plays, Mii Gunner is another one. In fact, nobody that I can find has made a new Mii Gunner matchup chart since the last video I have done, so Sonic is still for now considered the worst matchup. Just able to use his speed to avoid Mii Gunner's extremely annoying and harassing neutral game, and able to get Mii Gunner off stage, where Sonic can actually have a great time landing edge guards and landing 2 frames on Mii Gunner's recovery. Next we have Palutena, which luckily for me is a character that I had a lot of data and a lot of matchup charts on. So many people love to play Palutena. So if you want a character that's good against a lot of people's mains, then Pikachu is the perfect pick. Palutena does not have the best time dealing with small characters. She's a very tall woman, and a lot of her aerials you kind of need to do very close to the ground if you're going to land them on little characters, which kind of makes you easier to read. Also, Pikachu is a character that can 2-frame very well. As Palutena's trying to teleport back to the stage, Pikachu's down air does an excellent job at catching that. But hey, Palutena's quite good at getting 2 frames as well. Her tilts cover people going low very well, and if people want to go extremely high to recover, then Palutena's up airs are terribly frightening to deal with as juggle options as well. However, there's one, or I guess 2 characters in the game that don't need to go low, they don't need to go high, they can just go through you. And that is Pikachu. And Pichu as well, but Pikachu is a character that is just better at being able to play it slow in neutral, camp Palutena out, And that is what she has a very tough time dealing with, according to pretty much every single Palutena in the world other than Abadango, who for some reason puts the matchup as even. I don't know why. Every other Palutena said it's like the worst matchup in the game. So, yeah, I don't know what Abadango is smoking. Pac-Man is a character that has risen up and become an extremely high-level top-tier threat since the last video I made on these matchup charts. And so a character that's very good at dealing with this very good character is Fox. Fox is able to deal with Pac-Man camping in the air. All of the characters that Pac-Man has defeated well, we've discussed how Pac-Man can kind of circle camp, running in the air, jumping to platforms, getting the fruit charged up. But Fox is a character that loves it, absolutely loves it. If you are staying in the air, he's so fast, he gets his up airs out quick, they're able to juggle, and they're able to kill. So Pac-Man is not safe camping in the air. And Fox is also a character that can very easily deal with Hydrant being on the ground. Fox is a jumpy boy. He jumps straight over it. He uses speed. He gets in. He pressures Pac-Man's shield. And, of course, he has the reflector as well, just so Pac-Man has another thing he has to worry about. He can't throw out his fruits willy-nilly because they might come back and hit him in the face. Robin, just like Samus, is another projectile character that really has a problem with Olimar. Pikmin toss beats all of Robin's projectiles. The Pikmin kind of take one, like, get down, Mr. President, every single time Robin tries to throw out a projectile. So now Robin has to approach Olimar, and Robin is a character that is terrible at approaching. One of, if not the worst character in the game at approaching because of how slow she is. Her projectiles don't really lend herself to kind of running in with them like younglings do. It's a tough time for Robin against Olimar. Shulk has a horrific time dealing with Snake in neutral. First of all, of course, Shulk is a character that can't just stay back and outcamp Snake. You're going to have to approach. He's throwing out grenades. He's throwing out projectiles at you. But as Shulk comes in with his very slow sword swings, they are going to blow up Snake's grenade if he's holding him in his hand and shielding every single time and blow Shulk up. So, of course, you kind of want to sit back and pressure Snake from a bit of a distance where your sword is just reaching him. What is usually outside a lot of characters what we like to call burst range, where it's an unreactable attack. If you're in their burst range, you're in the area where they can attack you and it's not going to be reactable for you. Snake has a pretty surprisingly large burst range because of how his dash attack works. So you can't just sit at the edge of your sword with Shulk and kind of just swing over and over. You got to be worried about the dash attacks, and you can't get in if you want to because the grenades are going to blow you up. Shulk also has a tough time dealing with Snake's Cypher, especially if Snake goes high and tries to land. Shulk is not a character that has a good juggling tool. A lot of, especially sword characters, have very good up airs. You think about Lucina trying to juggle with that up air that swings side to side and covers a lot of distance horizontally. Shulk's does not have that. It is straight vertical, very tough to land, and is not a move you can spam over and over again to juggle. So Snake is getting down a lot of the time versus Shulk. Bowser Jr. loses to Steve, but other than that, he also loses to Pyra and Mithra. The DLC have come in and given this poor little Junior a very, very tough time. Mithra's speed and range and juggling ability are simply just way too much for Bowser Jr. to deal with. He cannot keep up whatsoever. And if Bowser Jr. gets knocked off stage, Pyra's down air is waiting to very easily two-frame him or keep him at the ledge for a ledge trap. It's just such a suffocating matchup when I think about it. There's nowhere Bowser Jr. can go in neutral. He's suffocating in the air. He's suffocating when he's trying to recover. He's suffocating. It's like an asthmatic trying to run a marathon race. Duck Hunt is another one of these characters who gets out-camped by Mega Man, the anti-camping camping machine. Mega Man throwing out all of his quick projectiles, kind of knock the can, so it's going to get sent back at Duck Hunt. It's going to shoot out the gunman, and so Duck Hunt can't really set up. It's going to shoot through the frisbee as well and break that, so Duck Hunt can't set up in neutral whatsoever against Mega Man, which, as you can probably imagine if you start to think about it, is just an absolute nightmare, because that is what Duck Hunt's game completely revolves around. Ryu absolutely hates Steve, but other than that, he also hates Rosa. Ryu has a very tough time trying to get in and start his combos against Rosalina. The neutral game is just absolutely despicable for Ryu in this matchup. You know, Ryu's a street fighter. He likes a fair 1v1 battle, but Rosalina, that's a 1v2, and he can't deal with it at all. Combine this with Rosalina having a fantastic time getting out there and landing edge guards on Ryu's recovery. She can go out there with a back air or a down air against his side B, against his up B, and if he's trying to focus to recover, it's not going to work because Rosalina and Luma count as 2 hits. So focusing to recover, focusing to get down if you're getting juggled, do not work against Rosa. She can up air, she can up smash, and you're not getting back. So it's just bad all around for Ryu. And as you can imagine, Rosalina and Luma are very bad for Ken as well, but there's a character that is even worse for Ken, and that is Ice Climbers. Ken's slightly worse at kind of camping out using the fireballs, and so he has to deal with, once again, another 2v1, which these Street Fighter characters seem to hate. Trying to approach Ice Climbers to get your combo started, you are running into the death zone because this character combos a lot harder than you, and that's your thing. So now you're kind of screwed. And just like Rosalina and Luma, there's Popo and Nana. So up airs, back airs, everything is going to go through focus attack. That is not going to work to get you out of disadvantage. Cloud as a character is being piloted by what many people think is the new king of Smash Bros, and that is FaZe Spargo. Now, to deal with this character and potentially beat FaZe Spargo, be the new #1 in the town, you're going to have to play Joker. Joker is a fantastic character against Cloud. First of all, when Joker kind of runs and moves around, his hurt box is very tiny and it's a bit difficult for Cloud to hit. Then you combine that with Cloud's speed and he's able to absolutely outmaneuver Cloud in neutral. Kind of run around Cloud's big, clunky, slow hits and get his combos started. Joker, also a character that is fantastic at edge guarding Cloud with the guns, with the back airs, and then when Arsene comes into the picture and that counter is letting loose as well, or the even more powerful back airs and forward airs and down airs, it is an absolute mess for Cloud to deal with. Meanwhile, Joker easily able to avoid Cloud's kind of semi-edge guards because Cloud can't go very deep, so Joker can just kind of hang out like he's Spider-Man at the bottom of the stage, choose a good moment to zip up, and then howdy doody, you're back to neutral where you love to be. Corrin has a very tough time with Shulk. Corrin's a character who's obviously a sword character that likes to outrange her opponents, but Shulk is just doing that, but even better. However, why don't other characters like Lucina also have Shulk as her worst matchup? Well, Lucina's got good, quick options to throw out in neutral and an up B out of shield to deal with Shulks when they kind of set the tone and approach on their own terms with their landing neutral airs, landing forward airs as they like to do. Corrin does not have a quick out of shield option to deal with this, so she has a tough time struggling with the range of Shulk, outranging her, and if the Shulk is able to get in and start smothering her, she doesn't have a good out of shield option as well, so it's kind of just bad all around. Shulk also has a pretty good time edge guarding Corrin and getting the kills. Meanwhile, Corrin, not that great at edge guarding Shulk. As you can see here, this is how Shulk's up B works. The attack is kind of just in front of him. So a lot of the time you want to come above with a good down air that kind of stomps on Shulk's head to deal with that. Corrin's down air, it would kill herself if she went to go for this. So it does not work at all. She's not very good at edge guarding Shulk, not good at neutral, not good at getting the kills. It's a mess. Bayonetta has an absolutely miserable time trying to catch Sonic in neutral, trying to get her combos started. It does not work against Sonic. Also, if Sonic is sitting there spin dashing, don't you even think for a second that the bullets are going to help you. They kind of angle up and they do not catch Sonic's spin dash. Same with using like your rising side B, a kind of good burst option Bayonetta has in neutral. That doesn't hit Sonic either. So Bayonetta's kind of just getting picked apart in neutral over and over and over versus Sonic, and it's a rough time. INkling absolutely hates dealing with Steve, but other than that, because that character is banned, INkling hates Shulk as well. I would say in a weird way, INkling's kind of similar to Mario, you know, got a bit of decent range, got some good fast aerials, also able to get in there, land some grabs and get some combos going. All of this is not good against Shulk. Shulk has a very long sword, able to keep INkling away at all times. Also able to have a fantastic time as INkling tries to roll her back to stage, do that thing where they roll horizontally, then jump, then up B. Shulk is ready for that. He could forward air that every single day of the week. Meanwhile, you knock Shulk off stage when you're INkling, and you're going to go out there and try and land a back air as you do for your edge guards to try and land the kill. Shulk is also just flying back with his aerials, his forward airs to just smack you away, say, nah, none of that. I'm going to forward air, then we're going to up B low. What are you going to do about it? Try and land your crappy down air? I don't think so. Ridley is a big boy with a big list of characters that kind of beat him. However, none worse than Robert. Rob does not have to deal with Ridley's range. He can kind of just sit back and chuck out projectiles. Ridley's going to have to approach. And if you approach and get caught by one of Rob's nairs, you get stuck in a combo. Trust me, a Ridley is very, very easy to combo. And Rob's are going to land those little gyro nair, offstage side B. You're dead like at 30%. Very easily on Ridley. Ridley also doesn't have the best juggles in the world. They're still pretty good, but that's Rob's biggest weakness. Ridley not really taking advantage of that because he doesn't have a fast, quick, spammy juggling aerial that he can throw out over and over. And then when Ridley's coming back to stage, it's true, Ridley can usually make it back from anywhere. With his side B, with his up B, he goes really far, but it's very slow. And so if you've got a giant down air that you usually have a tough time landing because your down air slow, well, guess what? Against Ridley, you're going to be able to have a fantastic time timing that down air, landing the spike very often if he goes low. If he's coming in sideways, then just throw your gyro, throw out your forward air, throw your laser beam at his face, and just watch him bloody squirm in misery as he struggles to make it back. Simon and Richter both have a tough time against Pikachu. This little rat kind of ducks under a lot of Simon and Richter's aerials, the forward airs and back airs. You're going to have to be extremely specific to try and land those on Pikachu. As a result, you're going to probably have to stay kind of grounded, and Pikachu is going to outmaneuver you like crazy. Pikachu's going to kind of sit back, chuck out some Ultra Bees, come in behind those, and they're going to deal with your projectiles. If you're throwing them low, Pikachu can jump, safely pressure with very good aerials. If you're throwing your axe trying to cover high, Pikachu can just sprint along the ground as well, get some aerials started, back airs and forward airs. All of Pikachu's combos kind of send characters horizontally off the stage. Like Pikachu will back air, or forward air, up air, back air. Get them horizontally off the stage. And Simon and Richter, two characters that absolutely hate that. If that happens to them, they're dead like every single time. And then if you need to, Pikachu can also go out there and land an edge guard as well if they've hit you off stage with a stray hit. So it's a very tough time not getting knocked horizontally off stage with Simon and Richter against Pikachu. King K. Rool seems to have the worst time in the world against Meta Knight. Meta Knight's juggles work absolutely fantastically on King K. Rool. So just to start things off with the edge guards, with the juggles, with the kills off the top, Meta Knight is all over it. Usually characters kind of struggle if they can't go deep to catch King K. Rool as he comes in sideways, because then when he starts his up B, once he gets below the ledge and starts up B'ing, you can't deal with that propeller. It's too powerful, it's too big. But Meta Knight can go out there, simply jump around and wait and land a back air as King K. Rool's coming in horizontally, which is exactly where you want to catch him. The multiple jumps Meta Knight has also helps him out a lot in neutral to avoid all the projectiles King K. Rool is chucking out. And in disadvantage, if King K. Rool does manage you to knock you off the stage, first of all, he's not going to be able to land an edge guard on you. You're kind of going to jump around and choose when you want to up B back to stage. Then in a ledge trap situation, you can jump, and then you could jump, and then you could jump, and then you can jump. King K. Rool, he's got one shot to catch you. He's got that big up air that's very slow, very particular in one spot. That's his one opportunity to catch you. If he misses that, you're down to the ground every time. Now, even though Villager's worst matchup in the game was Hero, Isabelle is going to struggle even a little bit more with Pyra and Mithra. Usually if Pyra and Mithra go low against Villager as they're trying to recover, that bowling ball is coming straight for their head. Now you remove that out the equation, you don't have a free edge guard on Pyra and Mithra, and your Isabelle with your little slingshot against two women with giant magical swords. Like, what are you going to do against that? Their aerials and normal moves just cut through Isabelle's like they're butter, and Isabelle has a tough time trying to come back to stage, trying to land against these ridiculously big sword attacks. And Pyramithra getting the kills on Isabelle as well. Usually Villager and Isabelle are characters that you kind of know when the slingshot's coming, but you kind of can't do anything about it because it's got so much range, it's so safe. Guess what? Your Mithra, you roll as that slingshot's hitting your shield or about to hit you. Shoo! You go straight through it, you put them in slow-mo, you land a smash attack, boom, they're either dead or off stage. And finally, we have Incineroar, who has a tough time dealing with Zero Suit Samus. If you kind of think about it as a character that pretty much has the worst mobility in the entire game, up against a character that pretty much has the best mobility in the entire game, you can already see why this matchup is a bit of a pain in the behind. ZSS is keeping her distance, poking, waiting for a moment to strike, and when she does strike, she lands her guaranteed combo. So Incineroar is not able to down B out of those, and Zero Suit Samus is not a character that's chucking out strong moves in neutral, not chucking out like an Aura Sphere, where if Incineroar down B's that and revenges that, now he's super powerful. Or if he down B's a strong aerial, now he's super powerful. Zero Suit Samus doesn't really have that. She's kind of poking and maneuvering in neutral with very weak moves. She's using like her Zair, her whip, maybe her multi-hit forward airs to try and catch you out in neutral. None of them are very strong and are going to power Incineroar up. Even if they were to hit, and now Incineroar's powered up and he's trying to land his side B, it's so slow. You're having such a rough time trying to catch Zero Suit Samus, and she's just outspeeding you, outmaneuvering you all day. Thank you very much for watching part 2 of every character's worst matchup. We have one final part coming out, and that is every DLC character's worst matchup in the entire game. So make sure you subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that content, and leave a like if you did enjoy this video. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Thank you all so much for the support, and yeah, see ya.